Okay, so welcome. It is my pleasure to introduce Miki, Tomita, and Jung, Tano to share their presentation, Building Foundations of Aloha in Self, Home, and Community. So welcome, and I'll turn it over to them.
Hi, aloha everyone. Hejang, am I in the right room now?
Yes, you're in the right room now.
I kept getting pushed to another session, even from our own link. That's so awesome. I must have been destined to actually be in someone else's workshop. Aloha everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you being here. My name is Miki Tomita, and I'm with Education Incubator. And I'll let Hejang introduce herself too, but I just want to briefly, aloha, my name is Miki Tomita. I'm originally from Pukalani, Maui. I rest my head now in Palolo, and I'm really happy to see you all here and share with you some of the lessons that we've been learning with our Foundations of Aloha cohort, inspired by and co-led by Uncle Pono, Shim, who you heard from this morning, and some of the virtual learning that we've been supporting since March with this cohort. And then I will hand it over to Hejang to introduce herself.
Aloha nui kako. My name is Hejang Kim Tano, and I am currently calling in from Manawili on Oahu. And I was born in South Korea and raised in Florida, and have been super lucky and honored to be in Hawaii for the last 11 years. Mahalo everybody for being here this morning, and I'll send it back to Miki.
Awesome, thank you so much. So Hejang's going to be sharing with you a slide deck. We also created a bit.ly. In case you're not familiar with bit.lys, it's a way to shorten links, but also a way to track them, so you can see where in the world they've been opened and how. And we are more than happy to answer questions about that after the session. Here is our we're going to give you an overview of what our program is like and an experience in it, and then kind of debrief just parent to parent, teacher to teacher, what this experience is like for you and what kind of questions or suggestions you might have moving forward. We are all on this journey of aloha together, building or rebuilding foundations of aloha. And we just want to mahalo everybody who has been incorporating practices and principles of aloha for your entire life, and we hope to learn from you as well. Okay, so Hejang, maybe next slide. This is this poster might be familiar to you. It kind of like exists in like airports or maybe magazines. You might have seen it in different places. But this is a representation of Auntie Pilahi's teachings that Uncle Pono shared this morning, that were derived by her student Ramsey Tom and Uncle Pono to share with the world just one kind of insight into aloha. And so it lists, as Uncle Pono, I think he shared more about ohana and that really amazing and reverent way that Auntie Pilahi taught him to think about sounds and words and all of the different words that are encapsulated in one particular concept. And this representation sort of breaks down some of the meanings that we might work with aloha, starting with Akahai, Lokahi, Oluʻolu, Haʻahaʻa, and Ahonui. And so for us in our programs, we actually use this as curriculum. It is the foundation. They are the niho of our everyday activities, and help us to build a strong foundation of aloha in our homes and in ourselves and in our communities. So what is our Foundations of Aloha program? We're going to share just high level. Again, it's a weekday program. Right now we're on cohort 3. We have current signups for cohort 4 open. And so far we've had between like 30 to 80 registered participants, and daily we see about 25 to 30 people, sometimes 40, sometimes 10, depending on the day. But our weekday program is really centered for families and educators, and it's daily practice. We go through Mondays Akahai, Tuesdays Lokahi, Wednesdays Oluʻolu, Thursdays Haʻahaʻa, and Fridays Ahonui. But as you get deeper and deeper into the practice and building these muscles or these skills that are specifically focused on these facets of aloha, you realize that they're actually all connected. That, as Uncle Pono says, you cannot practice one without practicing all. And if you're practicing only one, then you're not practicing any. And so it's one of those things where we just build this strength and momentum together. We kind of structured 4 levels of practice. Aloha for yourself is usually the hardest for people. And so we start there. So many of us are nurturers, givers, parents, community advocates. Like, we can show aloha for others so much easier than we can for ourselves. And so we really focus on that as a starting point because it's the one that takes the longest, I think, for people to lean into. We have minimum screen time. And so we try to match engagement with minimal screen time. And what that only meets like 15 to 20 to 30 minutes in the morning, 15, 20 minutes in the afternoon. Between, we actually provide anchoring experiences for people. So movement and creativity challenges. We have like different things that you can do outside as families, as teachers. And then today we'll show you an example of one that centers on your observation spot. So throughout our entire 4 to 5 week cohort, we have scaffolded sort of videos and how-tos and resources around creating a star compass in or near your yard, and how to build a human sundial or a sundial out of objects that you might have in your home. And then really engaging in cloud and wind study, all of the things that we just heard in Auntie Ku's session, if you were in that one, about really getting to know the place that you're from and understanding who you are in relationship and in family to all of those elements of your surroundings. And then Sundays, we actually follow Uncle Pono's Higher Skills Academy cohort version, where he has a deeper, or maybe not deeper, but a different method that was given to him by Auntie Pilahi. And the way that he breaks down aloha starts actually with Ahonui and Haʻahaʻa as the ha. And so we have a slightly different rhythm, and we offer that on Sunday evenings. So we have daily meetings, morning and afternoon, creativity challenges and movement challenges throughout the day that we'll share with you today. And then Sunday evenings, we have a reflection time with Uncle Pono to talk about the weekly values that he, in his practice, we focus on one of these values every week and really journal about it and share that space. And so that's our kind of a brief overview of our Foundations of Aloha program. And then one more thing I'll share before I let Jung, who's our lead instructor, kind of walk us through what a day might be like with her in her awesome class. This is a slide that sort of represents what our cohort goes through. We have these slides that are shared with everyone who registers. And so if you are not able to make it to a daily meeting, you can see all of the things that were provided and the prompts and the activities. We run a Padlet, which is loading right now. You can see it. We run a Padlet that just every day people can add to and share what they're growing and what they found and the map that they drew of their home community, not in terms of the streets, but in terms of the plants and the animals that they saw and the people that they met. We also have a kit that we send home, and that's in the green background that you see there. And what we might do there our activities throughout the week might be linked to a build. And so we work with partners like Superpower Academy and Project Wayfinder, which are Superpower Academy is a STEM SEL program for elementary focus, and that's some of the STEM kits that you see there. It's a sundial build, and we have a planter build, and we've had like robot builds. There's circuit tape in there, so we do a little bit of that with the kids. And then Project Wayfinder activities are really around, it's like the leading purpose education curriculum that comes out of Stanford's D School. And they take a lot of their inspiration from the work that we did with them while we were at Polynesian Voyaging Society, working with Hokulea and the metaphor of navigating through life. They've taken their inspiration from that, as well as 4 or 5 other indigenous traditions, to think about what a metaphor of wayfinding looks like for your life purpose. And then that is our and Uncle Pono, of course, Oahu Economic Development Board is our major partner in this work, because it's his inspiration that we weave our haku into these daily practices. And I will hand it over to Hejong, who actually leads all of our sessions, and she's going to do a shortened version of what we would normally kind of experience in our day. Thank you.
Thank you, Miki, for the introduction and the background. So we are going to get a short experience, like Miki said. So our first of that is a loving kindness meditation. So if you can come to a comfortable, whether it's seated or laying down or standing position, and when you're ready, gently close your eyes, or you can turn off your camera if that's more comfortable for you as well. Do whatever is more comfortable for you to be in this space. And take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale slowly and fully. As you breathe, relax your body, soften your jaw and your forehead, soften your belly, relax your fingers and toes. Continue breathing and put your hand on your heart. Feel your heart take in energy as you breathe in, and imagine your heart releasing any hurt or stress as you breathe out. It can feel difficult to send kindness to ourselves and often takes practice. Let's take a moment to try and give kindness to ourselves. With your hand on your heart, say the following phrases out loud. May I be safe and healthy. May I feel loved. May I be happy. May I feel at peace. Think of someone you love very much. Perhaps it is a parent or grandparent, sibling, a friend, or a mentor who loves you no matter what. Reflect on what it is in particular that you love about them and notice how you feel. Imagine that person sitting in front of you. With your hand on your heart, say the following phrases out loud. May you be safe and healthy. May you feel loved. May you be happy. May you feel at peace. Now think of someone you know, but perhaps not so well, like the mail person or someone who works in a local store. Although you don't know this person well, think of how they too have suffered in their life, had conflicts with loved ones, dealt with failures, and felt pain and anxiety. See if your wish to them can be as strong as the wish for your loved one. With your hand on your heart, say the following phrases out loud. May you be safe and healthy. May you feel loved. May you be happy. May you feel at peace. Now think of someone with whom you have a difficult relationship. This could be someone you disagree with, don't get along with, or don't like to feel sympathy towards. Although you may have negative feelings toward this person, think of how they too have suffered in their life, had conflicts with loved ones, dealt with failures, and felt pain and anxiety. See if it's possible for one moment to let go of feelings of resentment and dislike for them. With your hand on your heart, say the following phrases out loud. May you be safe and healthy. May you feel loved. May you be happy. May you feel at peace. And now think about all the people, animals, trees, and living things in this world. With true love in your heart, stretch your arms out and repeat these following phrases. May you be safe and healthy. May you feel loved. May you be happy. May you feel at peace. Now bring your right hand on your left shoulder and left hand on your right shoulder to wrap yourself to give you a really good hug. And take one last deep breath in and let it out. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Mahalo, everybody, for being on that journey and practice with us. Before we head into kind of a little bit of space where we'll do some independent work, we're gonna watch this video and then that'll tie into our creativity challenge.
Over 2 billion cups of coffee are consumed every day, and it takes a lot of people to make just one cup. One man went on a quest to figure out what it's like to thank each and every one of them. AJ Jacobs is a writer who lives in New York City.
Hi, I'm AJ.
And he's the first to admit he can be a bit of a grouch.
My default state is grumpiness. I am very good at noticing all the things that go wrong.
So to make a change,
At any point in time, there's something you see that you'd like me
to. Thank you to everyone who helped make my meal.
Until one night,
my 10-year-old son was like, you know, Dad, those people can't hear you. If you really cared, you would go and thank these people in person. And that's when the light bulb went off.
He decided to hone in on something he knew he took for granted every day.
My morning cup of coffee.
Over the next 12 months, AJ set out to thank every single person who had even the smallest role in his morning cup of joe. First, it was his local barista, the roaster, and the coffee shop sourcer.
Whenever I thanked one person, they would say, well, I couldn't do my job without this person. So one person led to another, led to another, led to another.
He ventured outside the city and eventually the country.
I thank the folks who provide electricity to the coffee shop, the engineers who provide the water, the people who make the steel, the farmer and the importer, the truck driver, the person who paved the road, even the woman who painted the yellow lines in the road so that my coffee beans could safely arrive at my coffee shop. I remember I called the woman who does pest control for the warehouse, and I said, I know this sounds strange, but I want to thank you for keeping the insects out of my coffee. And she said, well, that does sound strange, but thank you. You know, I don't get a lot of appreciation in my job.
All in, AJ ended up thanking over 1,000 different people. And while most were pleasantly surprised by his gratitude, it's AJ who benefited the most.
The experience has made me grateful for the hundreds of things that go right every day, as opposed to the 3 or 4 that go wrong. I tell my friends that they should try these gratitude trails themselves. It could just be small gestures, looking someone in the eye, the cashier at the drugstore. It could be sending a quick note to the designer of a logo you love. I will tell you that it will make your life better. It's changed the way I live my life.
So that's the video. And apologies, I saw on the chat that some folks could not see the video. It is on the slide deck. So if you weren't able to, you can use the link to view it. And with the video, I think one of the things, there's so many things in the video that we should and can think about, but I love the kind of the genealogy of his entire gratitude journey. Started with his 10-year-old who said, oh, you're thanking people in this dinner table, but they cannot hear you. So just pinning the thought of like the things that we hear from our younger ones or our youngest ones in our family are sometimes the most insightful ones that can generate a whole world and realm of gratitude and just all kinds of thoughts and ideas that generate from them. So to think about that as we journey into our creativity challenge. So in thinking about the gratitude journey that AJ took, focus on that cup of coffee. Today, we are going to spend a little bit of time together in a little bit. We're going to spend 5 minutes to think about something that you really enjoy. So maybe it's a snack that you love, or a book that you read that made you wonder a lot of other things and made you thoughtful, and maybe you bring it into your classes or home space. Maybe it's a surfboard that lets you enjoy the surf. So whatever that might be, let's spend some time thinking about all the members in the community who might have had a direct or indirect connection to that. So how did the snack come to you, or who wrote the book and how did it find you? Who built the shelf on which the book sits on? Who shaped your board? Who bought you the board? Who makes the beaches and shorelines safe for you to enjoy the surf? So whatever you have that you're thinking about that you love doing, we're going to think about all the connections and the people who might have had a hand directly or indirectly in having you to enjoy what you do. And also the second part of that is to think about all those, and also to take time today to share your gratitude with at least one of those people. So your list is going to be giant, but to pin at least one person who might have helped you enjoy the thing that you enjoy. And so we are going to spend 5 minutes. So I'll start this 5-minute timer, and we're going to just spend some time creating something for you to share gratitude and to think about those people who might have had a hand. So it might be a card that you write to one of the folks on your list. It might be a lei, or because it's only 5 minutes, maybe gathering some material and harvesting material for the lei. Or it might be a text, it might be a phone call, it might be a drawing, whatever that might be for you. And we're gonna take 5. But before we do, I just wanna check in with Miki to see if there's any mana'o before we gift the 5 minutes. Miki, not unmuted yet.
Sorry. No, I just was going to say, take the time to start your gratitude journey. And maybe because we're a little bit short on time, we'll bring it down to like 3 minutes to start that. And we'll see you back here in like 3 to 4 minutes to talk about where we're at. Thank you.
Awesome. Mahalo everybody for starting your journey in gratitude, or re-practicing or spending a little bit of time thinking about folks who have a hand in helping you enjoy what you enjoy. We usually gift a full day for the creativity challenges, and we hope that you get to spend a little bit more time after our session as well. And I'll hand it over to Miki.
Thank you. Yeah, so as Hejong was saying, if this was one of our regular cohort sessions, we would, if we're doing it in person or sorry, virtual classroom with kids, and even for our facilitation with adults, we actually use the break time to insert a yoga activity as well. So those that want to exercise with us can. We put two examples. That one is yoga for the classroom. Adrienne has this entire, like, she's amazing, and she has this entire sequence that she just started. Hejong found it, PE, like yoga for PE. But there's also yoga for the classroom, yoga for courage. She has all these different yogas, yoga for desks, if you're sitting in your office at your desk. And then the other one is Cosmic Kids. And I love Cosmic Kids because they this artist here, she actually does yoga, and this whole series is like 6 to 10 minute reenactments of different movies. So this one is The Force Awakens, and kids really enjoy it. There's one on like Finding Nemo. There's another one on I think it's Frozen. So she does all these reenactments, and they're just really fun movement activities. And so we just wanted to share that. And then our next slide is that when we don't do a yoga, which we actually have as our Wednesday practice, which is Oluʻolu, because we practice on our weekly practice Oluʻolu Wednesdays, and that's gentle and strong. And so yoga is a core practice for us in that. On other days, we might, like this one was our example for Haʻahaʻa, which is to go empty, to be empty, but not empty like you're devoid of things. Become the vessel that can listen to things that are not being spoken to you in like auditory words. So our Haʻahaʻa practice yesterday was to focus on feeling the winds in your observation spot. Remember I mentioned that we help people watch videos and just identify what might be a place where they can build a sundial or a star compass, a place that they can see the most sky for the most amount of day. And we keep going back to that same spot to really build a relationship with it. And we provided just a resource from over a decade ago from a science curriculum that I used to use parts of. And like any source, right, it's one of many, and might have information in there that's not appropriate for people, may not be accurate, but we start at a place and then we determine, right, as users, as consumers, as practitioners, is this really what I think it means? Or do we need to look at other sources? We go to Ulukai, like we do all those things. So we think about the names of the winds in the area as you sit in your observation spot and really listen to the winds, listen to their names. Think about how our winds are actually all connected in that practice of Lokahi, that everything is connected in the universe. And so our winds in each region actually connect to each other and connect us with other regions of the world. And so we have in here 2 more resources to look at winds of the planet. And so this might be a movement and well-being challenge on a particular day. And we just wanted to give you guys like a taste of that. And another thing that we would do to kind of wrap up or to think about our kilo is we have a mahina mana'o or a kilo mana'o that we add into our daily practice as well. So for today, right, we're moving into Ho'aka. Last night, Mahina set Hilo, and tonight she'll set Ho'aka. Everybody's eyes are a little bit different and every region is a little bit different. So you have to really kilo and understand for yourself what that means. But with Mahina, Hilo, and Ho'aka, what we learn is that we ignite the spark of what our inspired practice will be for our new Malama. So our new month just started a few days ago. And then as we move from Hilo and Ho'aka into Ku, which starts this weekend, the Ku moons, are really when Mahina first becomes visible in the light of day, right? So we're not really looking for her in twilight or the evening anymore. You can actually see her during the day, during the kumoons. And the metaphor that we can take for life is that that's when we make our intentions visible, right? And we can lean into action. And so when Mahina moves through her ku forms, you think of ku standing tall, building. These are times to build a hale or build a garden that plants will grow tall in, or a physical structure, or build a stronger body and then a stronger mind by exercising, right? So building, take a stand to give yourself the self-care that you need. Remember, aloha for yourself is so important. So think positive, do positive, grow positive, all through these hilo ho'aka ku moons. And this mana'o is actually inspired by Tom Penna and Hi'ilani Shibata, who are both friends of ours and people that we learn from in their various teachings and practices. And so we kind of haku together the teachings from those really amazing practitioners. And that's kind of that's like a sample of what a day in the life of Foundations of Aloha is like. Again, in our daily practice, like if you were enrolled in our program, or if we were working with you, we would actually have like a strand of a value like Akahai or Oluʻolu that would weave through everything that we talked about in one day. And then the next day we would kind of, intuit what was happening for the next value that we're enacting. So that's what we wanted to share with you. And with our kind of remaining time, we actually wanted, Hejang does a debrief that we learned from our friends at Be the Change Consulting, which is a diversity, equity, inclusion organization. Really, they're on decolonizing strategic planning and organizational management. But they're just really awesome people in the Bay Area. And actually, no, this one is Spark, Stretch, and Struggle, not Head, Heart, and Hands. So this is from Project Wayfinder. Okay, sorry. And Hijang's going to lead us through a debrief exercise. We would do this. One of many, obviously. Head, Heart, and Hands is one from Be the Change. This one is Spark, Stretch, and Struggle from Project Wayfinder that Hejang will lead us through. Kalamai.
And, do I have the wind tunnel effect? Oh, okay. I'm still figuring out my way through Microsoft Teams, so mahalo everybody for letting me struggle a little bit. So as we kind of open up for Q&A, and before we open up for Q&A, just want to see what each person's spark or stretch or struggle is today. So spark is something new you learned or realized. Stretch is something that you did that felt like a challenge to you. So something that was hard, but something that you acted on. Whereas a struggle is maybe something you forgot or made a mistake on or struggled with that you would like to acknowledge. And seeing that it's 119, almost 120 people, if we could use the chat feature for us to share our spark or stretch or struggle, or maybe it's one of each. And giving a little bit of time for everybody to think about that and to share it in our chat. And also with that, if you have questions, we'll open up for Q&A. So spark, stretch, or struggle, and also any questions that you might have. And mahalo everybody for being here today. We're super appreciative and grateful for you to share space with us today.
Aloha, ladies. Just giving you the 10-minute warning. Mahalo.
And maybe
Miki, you're not yet unmuted.
I see that. Thank you. It's because my fingers click faster than the registers, I think, which actually brings me to the point that we want to give time, because I think some people's chat and connection is slower than we would like. And so I just wanted to bring up that Hejong is masterful at the comfortable silence. Some people really get uncomfortable with what they call Zoom silence or video chat silence, like just sitting in silence. And we're totally fine with it. Like we'll leave everybody muted and just the chat going for like 5 minutes while we just read all the beautiful words. But if you are one of those people that feels like you need to say something, then please do. We're also not saying don't say anything. So we only have, so maybe we wanted to just like, we have one more slide left, and then I know we have like 5 minutes. So we'll share one last slide, and then we'll just kind of leave it open for the last few minutes for anybody to be able to say whatever they want, because some of us need to hear the voices. Our last slide is really just a mahalo. You know, we practice our gratitude every day. In as many ways as we can. And we know that there are days when we forget people, but I really wanted to just bring into the room that for this Foundations of ALOHA program, and much of our work that is in Reinvent Learning at Home, you know, we're really aimed towards thinking about homes and families as healing and learning centers. So how do we bring Ike Ohana to the surface? How do we bring Ike community to the surface? Lahui learning, like really thinking about what does all of that mean for us? And then just loving yourself, so that you can love others. That's important too. And this has been a struggle for me too on a daily, right? Like just finding the time and the space for self-care. As Uncle Pono said, that self-care is not selfish, right? Like it's just not. Self-centered is not self-centeredness. And so like, just remember those words when you think about it. And then just thinking about our funders and the people that help to make this work possible. This program is only going into its 4th cohort. We're in our current 3rd cohort. And we had some partnership programs right before this as well. But we want to just mahalo all of the funders and partners that are on the screen right now. Omidyars, Castle, ASB, Superpower, Project Wayfinder, OEDB, of course, and Uncle Pono and all his knowledge, Kamehameha Schools, for the incredible support that they've provided us through the years, as well as Liliuokalani Trust, Lauinana, HIR, and Accelerate HI. And then we did put up our contact email, so you can email us at info@, and it'll come to both of us. And we talk every day as part of our ritual and practice. Hejong and I are in constant communication, even through this time of physical separation. You know, we're so closely connected because this is a time for social connection over physical distance. It's so important. And you can register for our next cohort if you're interested at eduincubator.org, which is also on the slide. And I wanted to mahalo all of you, and really just bring up one last thing that I've been trying to communicate to people during all of these different presentations and conferences, is that we're so grateful for video conferencing. So grateful, because to connect with someone from 6 feet away with half your face covered by a mask, where you can't see the smiling part or the word articulation, particularly for our Hamana that are like learning language, whether it's Olelo Hawaii or English language learners, like you need to see the mouth. And video conferencing, for all of its trials and tribulations, does allow us to see your beautiful, beautiful faces, your whole face, and to hear you unmuffled, And I love that. So yeah, so we'll just open it up to, I know we only have like a couple minutes left, but I'll stop talking now.
Such a great reminder to practice wait time. If you'd like to unmute and raise your hand or give any kudos out, great comments in the chat coming through. Hey, Jung, would you like to say any closing remarks as well?
Yeah, mahalo everybody for being here. We're super appreciative and grateful for everybody who's joining in. I am having a hard time trying to, I don't know how to navigate this space very well. So I'm like, I want to see people's faces. And I can see some, but not all, but feeling your presence through it all. So mahalo everybody for making time. We know that everybody's load on day to day is quite full with everything and juggling everything in our homes. So just deep gratitude to you all for being here today. Mahalo.
Mahalo.